Long before the spotlight, Carrey was simply a kid in Ontario dreaming of making people laugh. Born in Newmarket, Ontario on January 17, 1962, to Kathleen and Percy Carrey, he grew up in a family that struggled financially and moved frequently when his father lost work. Even as a teenager, he was making faces in the mirror, sending a letter to Carol Burnett's show at age 10, determined that he would perform. At age 16, he dropped out of high school to keep chasing stand-up comedy in Toronto clubs. His early act may not have always landed. His first performance at Yuck Yucks in Toronto was harshly judged, but those setbacks forged a unique voice. The turning point arrived in the mid-1990s when three films, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, The Mask, and Dumb and Dumber, made Carrey a global comedy star. He became the first comic actor to earn an upfront $20 million salary for a film, for the cable guy. The message was clear. Here was a performer who could dominate box office and own his comedic domain. Yet behind that explosion of success lay the foundation of a life built on overcoming hardship and proving the world wrong. And while that rise felt unstoppable, the next chapter would reveal unexpected challenge. The laughter is loud, but the silence is telling. At the height of his fame, Carrey began speaking more openly about his internal battle. Reports indicate that he suffered from depression for years and relied on medication to manage symptoms. He once said that the cost of being on all the time, of maintaining that high-energy persona, was losing touch with the man behind the mask. The contrast between public image and private pain became sharper as his career advanced. While fans watched his exaggerated faces and slapstick antics, Carrey himself admitted he sometimes felt hollow. The relentless expectation to be funny exacted a toll. He turned to meditation, changed his lifestyle, and even addressed the notion that success in Hollywood did not guarantee peace of mind. Yet for many, that admission came as a surprise. How could a man with so much outward joy be facing such inward unrest? Despite the trophies and box office records, his internal ledger told a different story. And as the audience applauded his brilliance, he quietly wondered, who was listening? The next phase of his life would expose how personal relationships, controversies, and loss can reshape one's public and private worlds. Behind the glamour of fame, the headlines often revealed something darker. Carrey's personal life carried weight, not merely in marriages or romances, but in loss, legal battles, and public disputes. One of the more tragic moments involved his former girlfriend, whose death was ruled an overdose of prescription medication. While Carrey was not convicted of wrongdoing, the wrongful death lawsuits brought intense scrutiny and emotional strain. On the public front, Carrey's activism and beliefs sparked intense backlash. He aligned himself with his then-partner in anti-vaccine advocacy, marching in Washington and calling certain state policies corporate fascism. These stances shifted the narrative. Carrey was no longer simply the rubber-faced comedian. He was a celebrity grappling in public with ideological conflict and personal grief. The combination of heartbreak and controversy created a tension. Could the man who made millions laugh also endure the kind of pain that very few acknowledged? As his outer world expanded with fame, his inner world seemed to contract under unspoken pressures. Next, we'll explore how this pressure pushed him toward reinvention, art, politics, and spirituality. Just when it seemed Carrey had exhausted his comedic canvas, he picked up a paintbrush. In recent years, he turned toward visual art, creating paintings, minting NFTs, and hosting exhibitions, a move that caught many by surprise. At the same time, he became more outspoken politically, drawing cartoons attacking public figures, embracing spiritual practices such as transcendental meditation, and publicly adopting the mantra that his worth lay beyond his. This phase of his career shows a man in search, not simply of roles, but of meaning. In one interview, he quoted that he visualized a $10 million check in his pocket years before he received it, a manifestation practice rooted in his early drive. The transition suggests that Carrey's ambitions had matured, from making audiences laugh to exploring existence, self-identity, and creativity. And yet, the transition was neither seamless nor universally praised. Some critics dismissed his art. Some audiences longed for the trippy, high-energy comedy of the past. In that gap between expectation and self-exploration, Carrey confronted the question, who am I beyond the laughter? That question leads directly into more recent developments, where rumors and Hollywood realities collided. When the rumor mill turns, even icons must adapt. Recently, it was reported that Carrey returned to acting for Sonic the Hedgehog 3 in part because he needed the money. Previously, he appeared to be stepping away, focusing on art and life beyond the screen. Now he was back in blockbuster mode. Meanwhile, his longtime Los Angeles residence, a sprawling Brentwood estate, was relisted after a pending sale collapsed and price reductions accumulated, suggesting that even in the permanent spotlight of Hollywood, financial and personal realities persist. These reports challenge the mythology of the wealthy, carefree star. Here is a performer once associated exclusively with fun and success, now navigating market value, brand relevance, and private cost. The mix of rumor, retreat, and return also shines a light on what it takes to maintain relevance in a shifting industry. Carrey's story in this phase is neither a full comeback narrative nor a graceful exit. It's a hybrid, messy, and revealing. Ultimately, it begs the question, does the public persona ever truly step off the stage, or is the stage simply bigger than the audience realizes? That brings us to his legacy, the final chapter in our report. How will history remember Jim Carrey? As the rubber mask comedian of the 90s, sure, but perhaps also as the actor who dared to ask, what happens when the mask comes off? Carrey's impact is undeniable, redefining comedic performance, achieving dramatic depth in films like The Truman Show and Man on the Moon, and moving into art and activism in meaningful ways. But the legacy is more than the body of work. It's also the silent questions behind it. What did the cost of laughter demand? How much of himself did he give away in order to entertain others? Carrey once told audiences that success did not equal personal peace. The man who sold out theaters and became a certification of bankable comedy now stands in a different kind of spotlight, one of reflection. For viewers and creators alike, his story offers a caution and a lesson that high visibility does not always mean being truly seen. As we close this report, let us remember that the biggest laughs often cast the longest shadows, and sometimes the most important voice is the one